got a question from Mervyn. I recently discovered your website and YouTube channel and I'm enjoying the content. I have a question about intervals. It appears when musicians talk about intervals, they are referring to the root note of a chord as the starting point to determine the intervals of the notes that follow. For example, C, E, G, B, C, C, E, G, B, C, makes C the root note, E the third, G the fifth, B the seventh, and C the octave. I recently discovered a chord or bass line has intervals that occur as we move from one note to the next, which are different from what is heard when the starting point is a root note. By analyzing the C major chord, the major seventh chord again, and this time doing it note by note to determine the intervals, C to E is a third, E to G is the third, G to B is the third, and B to C is a minor second. Is it incorrect to think of intervals from this perspective? Do we always have to analyze or label the intervals as they occur from a root note, or can we view the intervals as they occur from one note to the next? Great question, Mervyn. And he has given me permission to use his name, so hence I'm doing that. It's not incorrect. Absolutely not. And I think you're doing yourself a great service by thinking the chord through and how these notes relate to each other. Now, in the musical context, the root is going to be what your ears are focused on. So I believe when you are in the musical context, it is better to think of the chord in terms of how each of these notes relates to the root. Why? Because you want to know how each of those chord tones sound in relationship to the root. So I even recommend practice them this way, major third, and say it out loud, major third, perfect fifth, major seventh, octave. And how do they relate with the root on top? Well, going down, some of the intervals reverse, so that's a minor second, and that's a fourth, and that's a minor sixth going down, and that's an octave, right? So just to think about the way these notes relate. But yes, inside the chord, you have certain intervals developing as well. And I believe they are very relevant to know. Why? Fingering. Now, I know I need a major third and then a minor third and then a major third. And the best way to finger that is from here to here. That's my major third, right? And then a minor third from here to here. So are there any, and then I have my major third up there on top. Are there any better ways to finger that? Let's see. So in major, you want to start with the second finger. I jokingly call it the traffic finger because then we remember it. But you don't want to start with your first finger because you cannot reach that first major third, right? You could reach the fifth and you could reach the major seventh, but you could not reach that first major third. So the first finger is no good for major. The second finger is perfect. The third finger, also no good because I cannot reach when I go up a major third. I'm fine here, but now I need a minor third, and that minor third I cannot access without moving. So my minor third is here, or would be here, the open string, or going down here. So that is not a good choice. The pinky finger may be a good choice for some of it. I'm going to go up to the C here. Major third, I'm good. Minor third, I'm good. But now I need a major third. And a major third is no good from the first finger. So then this would be better. I think at the end of the day, you will know these shapes, like chord shapes. There are not that many. Major 7, minor 7, minor 7 flat 5, diminished, fully diminished, and augmented, and what am I forgetting? I'm forgetting something. Dominant 7. There are only as many, and some extensions and stuff. But the meat of the chords were the ones I just mentioned. And you will want to have those under your belt as a unit, But I like that you do think, how do notes relate to each other within the chord? Because it's relevant for fingering, and it's just good to know. I find you can know one thing on the bass in many different ways, and sometimes that will come to mind faster, and sometimes the other way will come to mind faster. All of that is described in my book, in the chapter on triads and in the chapter on chords. I have tables in there that tell you exactly what the intervals formula is. For example, here on the 4-note chords, what the interval formula is from the bottom and within the chord. So yes, I think both things are very valuable and very helpful to understand the chord and to execute it. So I hope this answers your question. The other thing I want to mention is what's really cool when you know your intervals very well on the bass is that you can execute symmetric scales very easily. It's another thing that's in the book. Every interval that I talk about, I go through each interval and repeat the interval. So if you repeat the interval of a minor second, for example, you get a chromatic scale. If you're the whole tone scale, if you repeat whole steps, you get a fully diminished chord if you repeat minor thirds and so forth. So by practicing repeating an interval and also getting into symmetric scales, which utilize more than one interval, but which will help you shed your intervals in a musical context, you do yourself a big favor because your fingers really get the hang of intervals. Cool. I hope that was helpful. Thanks for your question, man. Good luck. Let me know how you're getting on. Cheers.